So, how do I know if my medical cannabis is safe? That's what we're going to talk about today on MCPA TV. Tell me a little bit about your personal journey. What made you decide that you wanted to open Kelly's Green, which will be a major cultivation center right here in the Jackson area, and you'll be processing and dispensing. But you've shared with me before, but would you share with our viewers a little bit about your journey as to what made you really want to do this?
Sure, absolutely. So I think that most people that I have encountered in this industry have a passion about the plant. There's a personal connection, a story behind that, and we're really no different in that regard. So we've always been passionate about cannabis. The first work that we did, or that I did in cannabis, was I drafted some legislation in 2017. It was the state's first piece of legislation that dealt with cannabis or marijuana and families. It was part of the legal work. I'm an attorney by profession, and so been practicing about 16 years before I closed up to do Kelly's Green. But we did some of that work then, and that was the first sort of step in this journey for me. But going back a little before that, my niece was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma when she was 13, and she battled that like a warrior, spirit of a warrior, and she beat it. She beat it. She went through 3 years of treatment and beat it, and she just turned 21, and she's just fabulous, and we're so grateful for that. But her journey really influenced us. And then my father passed away in 2018 of Alzheimer's. And while his journey was very different than hers, they were both very impactful in my life and affirmed my belief that everybody should have choice and that we should mitigate suffering any way we can, especially when we can do it in a safe, effective manner. And so my personal story is that, and it also aligns with sort of, well, not even sort of, it also aligns with my philosophical value system as well. You know, I can't help, I have a big social justice piece of me. It's my lawyer piece of me. And so the transition from that to this company was really sort of a natural evolution of my journey. And that's how we got to Kelly's Green.
That is an amazing story. So Kelly, tell me a little bit about some things that Kelly's Green is doing to make sure that you're producing safe, clean products for our patients.
Sure. So first, we're vertically integrated, and I think you mentioned that. We'll cultivate, and we have an extraction lab, and we'll produce products, and then we have retail locations where patients can come to dispensaries and you know, pick up whatever product they need. And so when we talk about safety, it's so important to, well, it's absolutely necessary to consistently produce a safe, effective, quality product. And so when we talk about safety and quality and effectiveness, it's a multi-step process for us. It's not just one thing. It's numerous things that have to be put in place for that. And I think it begins with regulatory compliance. Of course, we always want to comply with all the regulatory mandates. And so it starts there. And I think it continues with policies and operating procedures that address everything from prevention to contingency plans. It comes down to really precisely controlling the environment of the plants, where you're talking about controlling temperature, humidity, airflow. Then you also have to have policies and procedures for sanitizing and cleaning the rooms when you move the plants. So we have all of that put in place. And then I think you follow that with, of course, training for employees. You need to make sure that everybody understands the processes and the contingency plans. It's important to know that we will work, you know, diligently on prevention. But everyone knows that you have to have a contingency plan in the event that something does go wrong, that you do encounter an issue with temperature or mold or pests or something along those lines. And I know that those are bad words when we talk about cannabis, but if we're being honest,
no,
that's exactly what you have to prepare for.
You do.
And so we have those policies and those procedures in place with the training. And I think that it also, and then of course, it goes without saying, testing. Testing, absolutely. Yes. Testing with an accredited testing facility. And of course, you'll know everything from your heavy metals to your THC levels to everything about those plants. I think it also continues with, of course, seed to cell tracking, so that you track that plant from the moment it starts life to the moment it leaves your company. And so that is, of course, part of safety as well. And I think that it's important that the philosophies and the policies and the operating procedures, they continue to be consistent from the beginning of the cultivation process all the way through the company, through that journey of cultivation, extraction, manufacturing, and whether that be a wholesale product that leaves at that point, or whether it continues on to become a retail product. From start to finish, you have to maintain consistent quality, training, operating procedures, contingency plans, all of that goes in. And I think also when we talk about safety, it's probably a little broader than just safety, but I think it's important to mention that policies and procedures that prevent diversion, I think, are part of that. And creating a safe work environment is part of that. And creating a safe environment for patients to come in is also part of that. So safety is huge for us. It's an important part of Kelly's Green.
Absolutely, and I do believe that. And so let's talk about your dispensary and the workers, that dispensary agent that will be there, who will talk to and the patients one-on-one. What sort of training process, and it's my understanding through the rules and regulations that they do have to go through a process of being credentialed through the Department of Health as well, but will you do some further training with your dispensary workers?
We will, absolutely, yeah. So we'll have, of course, the state, that we will meet the minimum requirement from the state, but it's important to us to go above and beyond that. So all of our employees, and specifically speaking about our retail employees, will go further training about everything from dealing with patients to understanding the products, to understanding what products we carry. And of course, we would never expect a retail dispensary person to give any sort of legal advice, of course, that's obvious. But I think it is important that that's the first contact with the public many of the times. And so I think it's important for that person to be educated on the products, trained in how to deal with people, especially people who are suffering with debilitating conditions. Compassion is a huge part of that. Understanding is a huge part of that. Educating people and educating our staff is the huge part of that. So absolutely, we'll go above and beyond.
Well, I certainly love to hear the words compassion and education, because those are two things for MCPA that I care so much about, is that we show love and compassion to those who are suffering. One big thing that we want to do and to be a part of is like learning more about how the Mississippi products, say with like Kelly's Green, how they actually are working for certain debilitating medical conditions for our patients. And so it's just wonderful to know that, you know, we will have companies like yours that will participate in the research and development pieces that are going to be coming about, and so that Mississippi can lead the way in helping the world to understand the true benefits of medical cannabis. Kelly, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a pleasure having you, my special friend, with me today. And to my viewers, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you found MCPA TV to be not only informative but educational and helpful in understanding the benefits of medical cannabis. So for more information, please go to our website and share this story with a loved one. who may be suffering from a debilitating medical condition. And then also check us out on our social media platforms. We thank you for tuning in.